With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Hey there, I'm Nicholas Dubois, co-founder of Advanced Sim Racing. We are a Canadian company. So what we did here today is for a real petrol head. He's really passionate about cars, as you can see behind me. We did a turnkey solution for him based on his needs. We try to gather as much information as we can on our client. And like we did today, we install a D-box system. We install ultra-wide cube control steering wheel. We try to provide the best quality for your budget. So let's say if you want a budget of 10 grand, we're gonna give you something that's the best for 10 grand. If you want 20 grand, then we always try to stay within your boundaries. We do try to make it as easy as possible. So the client, once we install everything, it's pretty much gonna be a turnkey. So he's gonna press start on his computer, and right after, we'll try to explain everything, how it goes, how it works, and then he's ready to go. Our aluminum is from USA, treated in Canada, cut in Canada. So we do sand all our aluminum piece just to make sure the powder coat sticks to it. And that's one of the reasons why we use powder coat, is to make sure you have the best aluminum finish in the industry. And our quality is beyond what you can get with any other competitors right now. We are really, really passionate about all the gear, all the cockpits, all the sim hardware, and that's why we want to create something that's really gonna reflect our passion into our product. Come visit us at advancedsimracing.com. You can always reach us if you have any questions. You can call us, you can text us, you can go on Facebook, like our page, ask us questions over there, and we'll make sure to answer every questions there is. We are very passionate about what we do, and we try to make it as easier for you to go into the sim racing world, because there's a lot of gear, there's a lot of options, but let us guide you through your process, and let's hope you'll be an Advanced Sim Racing customer.
After a chaotic week of racing action at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, we now head to a magical time here at the Magic Mile, New Hampshire Motor Speedway, as we bring you coverage live on RaceSpotTV of the Precision Racing League NASCAR Cup Series here from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and we are getting ready to kick off qualifying and all pre-race festivities. Of course, tonight's action is brought to you by some amazing partners. First and foremost, the PRL NASCAR Cup Series is brought to you by VCO, the virtual competition organization. Make sure to go check them out on all their social media platforms. Also by Advanced Sim Racing, owned and operated by passionate sim racers. Advanced Sim Racing designed and builds the sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing simulator cockpits available in the market today. All PRL members can also get a 5% discount on any ASR products using the Precision5 coupon code. Also brought to you by RaceLab. RaceLab helps you improve your driving skills with modern overlays, race statistics, and native VR integrations. You can get the best out of iRacing. Start using it now for free at racelab.app. Also, Butt Kicker products, and incredible immersion and realism to every game. Feel every nuance and truly put yourself in the driver's seat. And finally, today's coverage is brought to you by NinjaTrader. Ready to compete up against the financial markets? Supporting over 60,000 users across the globe, NinjaTrader provides award-winning trading software and brokerage service. NinjaTrader is always free for use for advanced charting, backtesting, and trade simulation. Visit ninjatrader.com to get started with a risk-free trading simulator and start tracking your performance today. Good evening, everyone. I am your host, Taylor Burris. Alongside me is none other than Terry Radford here as we get ready to start the action. Terry, I think you have a little friend with you first and foremost, so why don't you go ahead and introduce our third member of the booth along with our producer, Mr. Hugo Luis.
Yeah, this is Atticus Nathaniel. He wandered his little butt in here, and now he's camera shy. He saw himself on camera. Here you go, he's leaving. But now it's short track racing, man. I got the shirt on. I love short tracks. I shaved the face for this. Figured I'd go with the less bum look because I was looking like a bum here for a little bit. But who's ready? Beating and banging. We watched 301 laps of the NASCAR Cup Series out there this evening, and what a marvelous race, and I can't wait to see what the PRL Series does.
This track has provided a lot of racing all throughout this week on the virtual circuit. As we take a look at the schedule, this is round number 4 here, and it's one of 2 short tracks that these drivers will be racing on this season here. The next one's going to be on August 14th at Richmond Raceway, Terry. But this is, of course, a great opportunity for some of those drivers who specialize on short track racing to really go out there and put on a stellar performance before we head to some of the bigger tracks and road courses like Pocono, Indy, and Michigan.
Yeah, and some of these drivers, you know, they raced Gateway in the other PRL series, so they understand what the flat tracks will do. Now, granted, there's a lot more shifting that's going to be taking place here. Some drivers are going to go to 4th, some drivers are going to go to 3rd. A couple drivers in practice really utilize that opportunity to shift and make some runs off the corner. So this ought to be fun because obviously next week at Pocono, the Tricky Triangle, we could see some very, very dangerous moves happening into turn 1 and even the tunnel turns. So you have to capitalize here in New Hampshire.
You certainly do. As we take a look at the point standings, after a surprise victory, Joseph Hogard takes home the checkered flag win at Atlanta after beating out both Abner Acosta and Trent Dinkle. They are currently tied for the race point standings lead for this season with James O'Brien, Mark Kalin both 2 points back. Corey Precker rounds out your top 5 as Acosta now breaks into the top 10 with 91 points, and Jose Medina now breaks in that 10th position as we take a look at the team standings. Terry, what can you tell us there?
Yeah, you got private label team hype up there at 246. Love Racing at 234. I look down there at Whataback Racing in 7th. They've dominated the truck side, which me and Joey call on Wednesday nights. And to see them not performing up here all that well and being 7th on the board, kind of surprising. Maybe it just takes them a little bit to get the next gen under their belt.
Something they'll have to keep in mind of as they continue to progress. This next-gen car has provided a lot of interesting opportunities, some great racing this season for the PRL Cup Series as qualifying is underway. There you see the 99 of Brandon Walters out on the track. He currently sits P4 right now with a 30.78. Meanwhile, it is Trent Dinkle who holds on with the private label team in the top spot with a 30.43. As we see Brandon come across the line, he does not improve, and he moved up to P4, so he does pick up a couple of spots.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that time that Trent Dinkle's put down of a 30.433, that's very fast compared to what you've seen. And most of these drivers are going to pick up on their second lap if they just put some heat in the tires on the first one. But it looks to me as Dinkle put that down on his first one, so he really put a flying lap down early. And you see you got Luke Christian coming in. He's going to complete his first lap as he rounds 3 and 4 here. He's got to come to the line. Let's see where he slots in. 30.5. It should put him in 4th. Yeah, we'll see what he does, if he's going to shut it down or keep going.
Yeah, Luke Christian's currently P4. Had a great run at Atlanta before catching up into some unfortunate accidents happening at the brand new Atlanta Motor Speedway. Drivers still continuing to log qualifying laps with 2 minutes left to go on the clock. He's going to try to run a second lap, see if he can improve on that 30.594 as he comes out of turn number 4. Across the line, will he pick it up a little bit? The answer is going to be not quite enough. He will maintain that 4th position at this time, so his run will be done. Meanwhile, a couple of other drivers starting to work their way up through the field. Eric Hagg picks up a couple of spots in P5. There you see Josh Conker in the 54 machine who picked up the win at Sonoma earlier this season at the season opener. He's going to try to see if he can pick up a couple of spots in qualifying as he is trying to set his first attempt of a speed run here.
Yeah, and some of the shifting, you can kind of hear the car, what it's doing. You hear it. He gets back in the gas, and then he hits the shifter. He's there. He's back to the high gear into 4th, and he hits it at 5th right at the line, it seems. A 30.3 on top of the board. Oh, my.
Josh Conker really knows how to get around this circuit here. He is definitely going to be one to watch as he looks for his second win of the season. Now we watch the 519 Toyota of Joao Guerrera as he will try to see if he can pick a couple of laps up for his first flying lap down the back straightaway. Terry, we're going to see drivers maybe go 3 and 4 wide around this circuit because of, even though this track is considered a short track, just about a mile long, it is still technically a very wide short track where drivers can really send it in multiple different lanes. And really, we don't see a whole lot of drivers utilizing the bottom of the racetrack normally. We'll see them more run towards that second to third line in order to get the momentum and that car running right.
With this next-gen car, we saw it today. For the people who did watch the Cup race, you saw them utilize the bottom side of the track. They were putting 2 tires on the apron, getting the car to rotate. Oh, hold on to her. He's in the wall. But that's what you're going to see all race long. You know, you're going to see people go 3, 4 wide. You're going to see people slide it into the corner. They're going to want to push it for everything that they can. And with qualifying over, Josh Conker, what a lap with a 30.39. He blistered him.
He's going to be starting alongside his teammate in the sister team of Trent Dinkle, followed by Sean Powell with the Phase 2 Chassis Works car in third. Pat Harvey will be in fourth with Abner Acosta in fifth. Joshua Daniels in the Love Racing Machine will start in sixth. Then it's going to be Luke Christensen, Eric Hagg, Robert Besaw Jr., and Tyler Justice rounding out your top 10. 11th and 12th will be Chris Hudson and Joao Guerrero as we continue to progress through the field. Skip Gandy, Brandon Walters in 13th and 14th. Row number 8 will be Elliot Butler and Adam Zemke with Waldo Walden and Scotty Johnson in 18th position. Rounding out your top 20 is Rye Jones and Mark Kalin with Joseph Hogard, last week's winner at Atlanta, in 21st with Steve Lovings in 22nd. Jose Medina in 23rd with Mike Witt in 24th. Moving on to 25th is Ricky Barbary with Eric Papineau in 26th. Byron McDonald and Barron Hilton will be in 27th and 28th, with 29th position goes to Tom Amacy, James Dewar in 30th. And then rounding out your 31 car field should be Danny Cervantes. We'll have to wait and see. Charles Summer also in 32nd. We'll see if they will join the circuit here tonight or not. A couple of other cars also yet to join. But Terry, walk us through some of the track conditions here. It is a hot one on the track.
Yeah, it's hot, 79 degrees to the outside, 54% humidity. Not a big deal on a racetrack like this, but partly cloudy. But that track tip being 117 degrees means when they go to shift down and get back on the throttle to come out of these corners, the rear end's going to want to kick. And this is just going to be incredible. Hopefully with the partly cloudy conditions, we can bring that track temp down to maybe about 115, 114 to maybe cool the track down. And maybe some of the driver tempers too.
We'll have to wait and see here as we're going to be riding on board with a couple of drivers. There you see Adam Zemke, who will be towards the back half of the field in 16th position. You get an onboard look with him as they come down the back straightaway. It's going to be one of the busiest men in iRacing, Benny, the pace car driver, in the iRacing official pace car, who will lead them down the back straightaway heading into turns 3 and 4. We're happy to have you with us here on RaceSpotTV for incredible coverage for the PRL NASCAR Cup Series as they come out of turn number 4. We're going to see Barney the Flagman being ready to wave the green flag in hand as they make the hard left turn, entering into the restart zone and head their way to get started for 145 laps around New Hampshire. Green flag is out. We're underway here at New Hampshire. It's going to be Josh Conker who will lead lap number 1 with his teammate Trent Dinkle. Sean Powell in the 3rd spot as you ride on board with Joshua Daniels, who holds on to 6, trying to keep pace with Abner Acosta as they work out of turn number 2. He's going to get right to the inside of the SGE Motorsports of Pat Harvey in the 67, slides back into place as there you see the 77 Race Spot Machine as he will try to power his way down through the middle of turn 3 and 4, working out of turn 4, not really able to make anything happen, but back up front, Trent Dinkle, he wants to try to capitalize on maybe getting a race win this season. He'll look to the inside of his teammate Josh Conker for the race lead. New race leader after 2 laps completed. It is Trent Dinkle back up front.
was smart that the 54 let the 9 go to the inside and not take the outside, because the moment you get pitched down to that bottom side, it allows the other drivers to get right behind you. Here comes Sean Powell in the 45 machine. He'll work the middle, try not to push up there through the center. He'll make that pass cleanly, and it also helps that Sean Powell ran the truck race here. There's not very many of these drivers, Taylor, that was in that truck race on Wednesday night. So a different car, but about the same horsepower. In the shifting was a big point of conversation for the trucks, and you're shifting again here. So little bit better there in the early run for the 45 and the 9 as they're 1-2.
As we have our first caution, the 98 of Charles Summer around in his Tropicana Chevrolet, as he is going to have a trouble out there on the circuit. I believe maybe some other drivers might have gotten caught up in it. We'll take a look at the replay, but trouble for Charles Summer, who is one of the main staples here in this circuit. Terry, walk us through what happened.
Well, as you see here, we talked about multiple lanes, so he just got on the seam, and that's what happens here. You know, we talked about the shifting points and getting here, and the track temp is 117. When you ride down there, you're on cold tires. You know, you have to back the corner up a ton more. It just got loose. Luckily, with the composite body, not a whole lot of damage on this thing. Charles Summer should be just fine to continue on here, along with the driver. I believe that was a 55 that got in the side of him.
That was actually the 35 of Corey Precker who made contact with him, had nowhere to go, but we're under caution for the first time here tonight after now 5 laps completed here at the virtual New Hampshire Motor Speedway. As we'll give you a quick rundown of your top 5. It's Trent Dinkle, Sean Powell, Josh Conker, Abner Acosta, Pat Harvey, your top 5, as we're going to see if any other drivers decide to come down pit road. So far, the only ones who I see is Tom Amacy, as well as the 91 of Rye Jones, Charles Summer, and I believe maybe Corey Precker. No, he's going to stay out on the racetrack as well. So 3 cars coming down pit road. They would get some service required on their race cars before rejoining the track.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that, you know, we're seeing drivers come down pit lane here this early. I mean, yeah, in some of the official races so far this week, a lot of people like to take advantage of an early caution. You know, your fuel window is pretty wide actually here. You can go quite further than what a lot of people think. You potentially could make this on one stop if you split it directly in half. Pitting this early, maybe just, hey, I want to change tires. I want to do something I didn't feel comfortable. We knew that the 98 would pit with the spin, but who knows? Maybe this strategy, they get a quick caution in about 10 or 15 laps, stay out, and they run it here as well. They got 5 sets of tires, Taylor, so they got plenty to use in this race.
They certainly do. As the lights are out on the pace car, we're going to double them up and go back racing here. It's going to be 7 laps completed, coming on lap 8 when they come and take the green flag here. As we see that, there you see the Phase 2 chassis work machine of Sean Powell, who's been looking to try to get a good run and a good finish this season. Had a tough break at Atlanta after having a strong performance. Really struggled for the past couple of races. Now looking to see if he can get a good start and maybe break out with a win this season for this team.
I'm interested to see what this restart does, because you saw the lead change. Now you bunch it back up. Sean Powell was on the back bumper of that 9 machine. Can he make the pass on the outside, starting in a better position than just being behind him on the low side? But we'll find out if he can jump it here.
Let's see what happens here as we watch on. The green flag is going to be back out as we go once again back underway here, and Trent Dinkle not going to go. He's letting the entire field by. I heard talk that there was a possible penalty in play for Trent Dinkle. We'll have to see what the reason is of that penalty, but he will go to the back of the field. Meanwhile, Sean Powell and Josh Conker will battle for the race lead.
It'll be tough break early for Trent Dinkle. Having a penalty, don't know what it's for, but going to the back of the field here. It's going to be a tough climb to get back up here, but you got to think, Taylor, 301 laps is what the Cup Series ran today. This is half of it. Oh, they're wrecking to the back.
Trouble in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Caution is out as they come across. The 57 of Adam Zemke involved as he will loop around. Tough break for that team car, Ramrod, as their sister car of Charles Sumner had a problem. Now Zemke out there with some problems. We'll get a look at the replay and see what happened to Adam Zemke, but also Waldo Walden might have been involved. Mark Kalin.
The thing about New Hampshire is you don't just take yourself out here. You take somebody else with you. Now, just like the 519 just got into the side of the 57, and those two made contact there, but it was also somebody was loose on the outside too. You can't just put that all on the 519. Car was loose on the outside and maybe just wanted to come up just a little bit, and that's just slight contact. And in these cars here, that it doesn't take much to spin them around, but Dinkle was told he was ahead of Conker at the race start, so that's what brought the EOL for Dinkle here.
Yeah, it's tough break, and so a jump restart for Trent Dinkle. He now currently sits in 29. Joao Guerrero has taken it behind the wall. His night is done in the 519 machine. He will finish 34th, as we're now under caution for the second time. Looking through the field, see if any of our biggest movers of the night so far. Currently, that has to go to Ricky Barbary, who started in 25th. He's now inside the top 15. There you see the Love Racing Nomad Esports number 19. He had a little bit of a tough break for the past first two rounds of the season opener of PRL, but came back with a strong result at Atlanta. Looking to see if he can continue that momentum on his side to get another good finish, as he's going to be behind Chris Hudson in the number 43 machine.
Yeah, you see a lot of these drivers here. You don't see them, warming their tires up and scrubbing them like you would see in the trucks or the Xfinity cars. You don't want to take any speed off these tires. You also don't want to take the grip out of it, because with this track being so high in temperature, it's really gonna affect your car in the longer run. What you thought maybe you could get 20 or 30 laps out of those tires, Taylor, it'll take about 2 to 3 laps off. So you'll start feeling the looseness more when you go to downshift. They might chatter a tad bit in the front, might chatter a tad bit in the rear too on exit. You can create a lot of wheel spin here at New Hampshire, especially with the shifting. These sequential shifting boxes, when you go to shift up, you get too hard on the throttle, the back end wants to chatter like a road course. So some of these drivers that were good at Sonoma, I'd expect to see them drive to the front and be a main stake in a player at the end of this race.
Gonna have to find out to see who's gonna be some of those ones. Of course, Abner Acosta, one of those strongest road course competitors here, along with Josh Conker. So this could be a good night for them indeed, as we'll see how this will play out. Pace car lights are off as they work down the back straightaway. It is gonna be Sean Powell, Josh Conker leading them to the green flag here, as one car goes a little off-roading towards the back. That was Rye Jones in the 91, but we're gonna still go back green flag racing here once again. As Benny, the pace car driver, makes the hard left turn down onto pit road. They enter into the iRacing restart zone. Green flag is back out as we once again continue racing here at New Hampshire, with Powell getting a great jump on the field. He's going to work his way up through the middle and head down into turn one. Josh Conker Acosta will also go side by side for second, with Daniels and Tyler Justice watching on.
Oh, and what a restart for the leader and the 5 of Abner Acosta. It's like they shot out of a rocket, but then you see 2 by 2 all the way back, and here comes the 77 of Daniels. He's going to try to work the bottom and see if maybe this middle groove will prevail him to the 3rd place position. Might just want to slide in here, and he does behind the 54, but a lap completed here with a lot of drivers. There's a car spinning on pit road.
That's Mark Kalin in the 62. No caution just yet for the Whataback Racing machine. He's going to fall back to 33rd position and continue to press on through the field.
Yeah, these cars are so much different than the trucks and the GT cars that this league is used to running. As you look at Tyler Justice in 5th in the liquid Molly machine, just sitting here riding. He sees this 2x2, but listen to his throttle and listen to that. You hear it. It sounds like a frog croaking in the center of the corner, and see how quick he downshifts. He got on the brake, he shifted down. These RPMs and these gears are so close to 3rd, 4th, and 5th to where it really doesn't make a difference. And then he's going to launch off exit, shift back up here. See him shifting, he shifts up, and then watch him. He's going to shift back down. There it is, right there, shifting down. And that helps him get into the corner and rotate here and slide up to get back down to the center.
Having a great run here, great onboard cameras here for Tyler Justice, who moves up to P5 as caution is out. Jose Medina, trouble on the racetrack for him, and the number 24.
think that's another product of a hot racetrack, and, and these seams are not your friend. It's like what's that movie, Finding Nemo? The fish are friends, not food. Well, the seams are not your friend. They will treat you as food, and he caught the seam on the bottom, and that's all it wrote for the 24. He spins it around, but no contact. That's an interesting thing, because normally here, if you spin in the corner, you get hit by somebody.
You certainly do here, as we're under caution for the third time here tonight. 16 laps completed. Of course, tonight's race is a 145 lap race, or 90 minutes on the timer, so whichever comes first right now. So currently we're looking at possibly seeing the timer be the victor here as we ride on board with, I believe that might be Robert VCO Jr. in the number 3 machine, who's having a quiet night, currently sitting in the 8th position after gaining 1 spot after starting 9th here tonight.
Yeah, most of these drivers, you know, with the multiple cautions we've seen so far, Taylor, they're not really going to be able to gauge what their car can do. They're getting a little bit of a heat cycle in, getting two or three laps in, and then the caution comes out, cools it back down, lets these drivers reassess what they're doing and just say, hey, do I need to pit or no? Right now, you could just be clutching this thing. You could sit in 5th gear, put the clutch down, and just ride it around here. You're not spending a whole lot of RPMs under the yellow flag. You're probably turning, you know, anywhere to 2,200. So nothing too wild. So I would expect you see Mark Kalin, Steve Levin, and Adam Zemke. They came down pit lane here, but not going to see a whole lot of drivers make pit stops, I don't believe, if we continue the trend of the cautions. It's just battle of track position, and you're going to have to get all you can get on the restarts, which is probably what's causing the yellow flags to come out more and more, as everybody's just pushing it on edge.
They certainly are. These cars are so different to drive compared to the Gen 6 cars that we've seen on the iRacing service for quite a long period of time. Of course, going through different packages of the Gen 6 car we've seen transfer over now with these new next-gen cars. It just shows that these cars are a little bit more difficult to drive, especially at this short track we see here at New Hampshire. And you've got to be so careful with your throttle inputs off corner exit, because I know turn 2 for a fact is a little bit loose for sure for these cars, and turn 4 is even much worse, as we see Abner Acosta behind the pace car. Him and Sean Powell will lead them to the restart zone, as Benny, the pace car driver, will make that hard left turn down onto pit road, and Barney the flagman will wave the green flag once again. Going to get a little arm workout here tonight as he comes down onto pit road through into the iRacing restart zone. Green flag is out. We're back underway here at New Hampshire.
Still a good start here for the leader. You see on board with one of our drivers, that's Lou Christian in 14th, riding the bottom. He has all the chaos in front of him, and he wants to get in front of this. But look how calm he is. He's very focused on what he's doing. He allows a driver to get by him there. That's Walter. He'll jump to the outside and clear it.
Oh, trouble on the back straightaway. Trent Dinkle and Scotty Johnson go around. Trent Dinkle around. We'll have to take a look and see what happens, but that was a big hit by Trent Dinkle. And oh my.
Oh, goodness.
I don't know what the 07 of Scotty Johnson was doing, but he completely just hit the brakes almost.
Oh.
Big hit right there for Scotty Johnson and Trent Dinkle.
Well, I guess I could play devil's advocate with myself here. Either A, the Nye was so fast coming on to that run that he didn't realize that he was there. Or, I mean, we look at it from this perspective. You see the 9 came off the corner, and he's going to dart to the bottom. And maybe he just wasn't all the way there, and he was setting himself up for the corner, and just, I mean, slight contact in these things, or it just makes them unbearable. As we get a better look, we'll see. Did the 07 come down? Yeah, 07 come down just a little bit, but oh, that's a hit.
Tough break for your front row starter of Trent Dinkle, who had to serve a penalty and now is caught up in this incident. He will come down pit road along with Adam Zemke and Scotty Johnson. But with the damage I think that Trent Dinkle might have on his number 9 private label machine, his night is done for the most part, looking it over as we're under caution once again. 21 laps completed here. Sean Powell leads the field now as they work their way through. We're closing in on 30 minutes completed for this race, about halfway through. Currently 10 minutes left before we go. And there you see Trent frustrated, but also the damage to the nose of that Chevrolet. If he can get it fixed, he can maybe see if he can make his way through. Of course, he was in a much bigger accident last week at Atlanta and almost won the race. So we'll have to see how this durable the number 9 machine is, and hopefully that car doesn't blow an engine, because I've noticed this week with at least the open side, you can very easily blow an engine with severe nose damage here at this circuit.
I mean, you absolutely can. You have to think this is, I would say, a Martinsville-esque style, especially in these cars, because you're planting the throttle from right about here where they're sitting. You plant it all the way down to you get between the 2 and the 1, and then you're getting back on the brakes and you're starting to shift down. And as you begin to shift, you have higher RPMs in the corners. You shift it down, get higher RPMs, and then you go to shift back up. You're obviously turning a ton around this racetrack, so it's building more heat in the engine. But holy mess. I mean, that was a tough hit. I'm surprised it didn't knock the wheels out of alignment there when he went head on to the wall.
I have to agree with you on that, Terry, but we're now about to go back green flag racing. There goes Benny, the pace car driver, into the iRacing restart zone. Green flag is back out with Barney the flagman as we're back racing here at New Hampshire. Sean Powell, Joshua Daniels crisscrossing each other, trying to see if they can see who will win the race into turn 1. And that goes to Sean Powell. You're right on board with Tyler Justice as they come out of turn number 2. Justice moves back into the top 5 and sets his sights on the 2 private label drivers as they enter down the back straightaway into turn 3.
And you have to be careful when you come off of turn 2, because if you get a wide exit, there's a bump that's right there. We saw the shade was on this racetrack. That makes you a lot looser. Now that the sun's beaten back down, any little bump in these cars can really make it. As there's cars in the wall in the back. Trouble hard in the wall.
Mark Kalin involved, and Charles Sumner as well, Steve Loving. And once again, we're under caution here for the PRL Cup Series at New Hampshire. We'll see how this works out for these competitors here. And as we see Mark Kalin trying to host his Whataback Racing Ford back over to pit road. Had such a good run at Atlanta, but unfortunately for his number 62 Ford Mustang, that car is going to be a little worse for wears here tonight.
Always has a smile on his face. Always has a smile on his face, and he can wheel the mess out of a car. A wheelman in the truck series, but you see him, he works the bottom, and he just got loose. And this is the part where we talked about the multi-groove spots on this track. You go to run that bottom lane, you have to think, when you go to get the arc off the corner and you want to straighten it out, you have to miss that yellow line. That's the commitment line for pit lane. So you have to get a straight arc, and you have to go great. There's a bump right there. And I just talked about bumps. His night is essentially over here. He's going to change tires, but it's Lightning McQueen in here. But he hits that bump, and it just shoots him dead to the right. And that's because he's turning left, but the car wants to yank it right, and it's going to do it every time. But there's no way. He can change tires all he wants. That change of tires ain't going to change that tire rod right there, because the inner and the upper tire rod in this thing is gone. And he's smiling, he's laughing. Got Terry Labonte out there in the background making me want some Kellogg's and some Cheez-Its.
Want to see where he hit that bump, because I did see that car just absolutely just jump a little bit in the air before getting loose off of turn number 4. We can get another look at that replay as we see Scotty Johnson come down pit road for the SGE Esports Apex machine, who was involved in the previous incident with Trent Dinkle last time out, as we're still under caution once again. Field, he will rejoin the racing circuit as they work their way through the middle of turns 3 and 4 once again. 26 laps going to be completed here as we are approaching 30 minutes completed for tonight's race at the virtual New Hampshire Motor Speedway. But a lot of great racing has happened so far this season. We've seen the first 2 races collected by the private label team Hype drivers of Josh Conker and Abner Acosta. And then, of course, the next round we saw Joseph Hogard steal the win away from the private label team, who was able to go 1-2, but made contact coming to the line. That allowed Hogard to take home the checkered flag at Atlanta. And now we're starting to see some other heavy hitters now working their way up towards the front of the field to see if they can beat the stranglehold of the private label team hype drivers who've won multiple team championships this season. As they come out of turn number 2, lights are out on the pace car. We are about to kick things off once again for another restart at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And as they work down the back straightaway, Terry, anyone you've been watching who's been making a good run here so far this early in the race?
I would have to say, if I'm looking at somebody, Ricky Barbary, down here on the 19 machine, he's currently sitting P9. He's up 16 positions. That's mighty impressive. I mean, getting through the wrecks and keeping up and have some speed. That 19 might be a guy we need to look out for here.
Green flag is back out as we're underway here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We're going to ride on board with Chris Hudson as he works his way through. Currently in P10, he's going to work the outside lane. Watching him saw on that steering wheel through the middle of turns 1 and 2. Great drive off a corner exit as he has to hold off. I believe that's going to be Skip Gandy onto his inside. Ricky Barbary up ahead of him. There they go side by side. Brandon Walters, Joseph Hogard, your winner at Atlanta last week, right behind in the mix of this battle.
They're doing a good job here going side by side. You see 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th all right there in a little bit of box. And this is interesting to see because now that we put a couple heat cycles on these tires, can we get the long run? You know, they virtually have no wear on these tires. They've only made it through a couple times through these corners. Can we see a long extended run where potentially we could see some green flag pit stops to maybe shake this field up? Because there's a lot of drivers out here that are moving up through the field. Tyler Justice is up 6. Barbary's up 16. Daniels is up 3 in that 77 machine. And Sean Powell, 30.64. Just at the fastest lap of the race.
Really setting the pace here tonight as he sets that fast lap here on lap number 29. Riding on board with Corey Precker, who is sitting currently, as we try to find him, inside the top 15. And 14 gets a little loose, holds on to her. Goes right below the line, 3 wide as he'll go to the bottom of the racetrack. Great drive and recovery for Corey Precker as he'll fall down the order outside the top 20. Trent Dinkle now brings into 20th now after having damage to his race car as well. Keep an eye on that number 9 machine as we watch on with Corey Precker trying to just saw at the wheel, work his way through the middle of the corner, down the back straightaway. And we're starting to get a little single file racing action throughout your top 15. Let's go a little further back to where you see these battles for position right here, including Corey Precker, who is in a battle right now with Jose Medina, who in the 24 will go around the outside. As they come across the line, 32 laps completed, under an hour left to go on the clock as they continue on racing here. Great action all throughout New Hampshire as we now get on board with Byron McDonald, who's having a strong run in the number 8, just about to break into the top 20 as he's trying to get around Trent Dinkle as well as the 21 of Luke Christensen.
Tell you what, that's a big man. Hey, somebody I'm trying to see at a bar on a Saturday night. I don't want to make him mad. It looks like he choked me out about 10 seconds, but my goodness. You see the bumps that are happening here. You see these cars working up and down. These are fixed setups. You know, when most people go out with an open set, you want to make that car as low as possible. You want to get it on the ground with the nose. But when you go to hit these bumps, you see it just bouncing up and down. He'll come off it too, and he'll catch that bump. You don't want to be sideways there because that little bit of a jolt to the front or the rear of the car, it'll take the air off of it. It'll make you want to wash up into the wall. And then you see the back end here, the driver right in front of him starting to slide up a tad bit. Can't really keep it at the momentum off the exit of the corner. But let's see if he can get a run here. You hear him shifting. He goes down. He's down to 3rd or 4th here. Then he'll roll it. Oh, hold on to her. Good move. Good save.
Great save right there for him as he tries to hold on for dear life as they now lose the multiple positions as they head back down the straightaway here, heading over into turns 3 and 4. Byron McDonald drops to 23rd right now, trying to hold off James Dewar in the number 55 machine out of turn number 4. One car just scrapes the wall a little bit, but will continue pressing forward into the middle of the corner as they work their way through the middle of turns 3 and 4, 1 and 2 right now. McDonald will move up back into 23rd and tries to set his sights on Baron Hilton in the 1 machine.
Yeah, that 8 machine coming through the field, not as fast as what most would say. He's up 6 positions here. He's trying to make this run happen in front of him, see if he can get a run there, and it's 2 wide, almost 3 wide. Guy in front of him thought he was going to make that one work, but chose better. Chose not to do that, as you see the 9 trying to work his way back up there. With the nose damage he has, it doesn't look like it's affecting him aero-wise or speed-wise. He's been able to make passes on the bottom. He's kept the momentum on the outside, and short tracks are the great equalizer, which is why I absolutely love short track racing, because you can go out there and rip the front clip off these darn things, and well, you're still somewhat competitive. You can keep it up as long as you don't lose RPMs. They almost catch the wall there. Dinkel's looking for more. He's going under the 37 of Papineau. He gets it. Papineau didn't want none of that one, none of that 9 machine. He's back to 16.
Great drive right now for Trent Dinkel as he tries to work his way through. One car goes around in front of him, tries to save it through the grass. That's Ricky Barbary out of turn number 2. And caution is out once again on lap 37.
Dang. Did he hit anything? Because it don't look like he did. That thing's clean.
Clean car. That's good news for the 19. Might just need to come down and get some fresh tires, but turn 2 strikes again. Just got loose through the grass. Couldn't lock it down quick enough before it rejoined the racing circuit. And right there, caution will come out for him as we ride on board with Ricky, who is having a decent run, running inside the top 20. And
they almost had her.
Almost had it indeed there, Terry, but unfortunately could not hold on to it, but makes no contact whatsoever to any of the Armco barriers. So it comes down, get a fresh set of good cure tires, and you'll be good to go.
My goodness. I mean, what a save. That was absolute perfection driving. You get loose. You know you're going to lose it. You heard him trying to burp the throttle, and that's what saves these cars 9 times out of 10. You don't want to shift up because then it's just, you're going to slow down a ton. But he's trying to hang on to it. He's burping the throttle. He's sitting there. You just heard go bump, 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 and then the back end was still going to go around. It didn't matter what he was able to do. But the fact that he was able to slide it through and had the know-how when he hit the grass that if he slammed those brakes, he was backing it into the fence, kept it in the throttle, played the throttle and the brake the entire time, and just spun it all the way completely around. It just that's incredible driving from that young man there.
Very incredible driving indeed as they race off pit road, and Josh Conker, I believe, might have won that race. I'll have to double check here momentarily. Elliott Butler also looks like to be the new race leader. Nope, it's going to be Sean Powell who win that race off. He'll be in P4 as Elliott Butler, Steve Lovings, and Bill Petrol decided to stay out this time around. It'll be Powell in 4th, Daniels 5th, Conker and Acosta 6th and 7th, Eric Hagg, Tyler Justice, Pat Harvey, your top 10 at this time.
Well, Butler and Loving has not pitted. Have not. Bill has pitted. He pitted on lap 25, so really haven't completed a whole lot of laps for Bill to think that he needs to come down pit lane. So we'll see if he's able to get that run and maybe pass Loving and Butler. Interesting strategy. I wonder if this will pay off, the track position flip, to maybe come out here and see if they can hold him off for just a tad bit.
We're going to find out here as with pace car lights are still on. We're going to be completing lap 40, 105 laps to go, or just about under an hour left in this race. So we'll see who is going to be able to do that. Currently, your biggest mover is Bill Petrov with 31 spots gained, but I don't know how long he'll stay up towards the front of the field right now, as he has a lot of work to do to try to hold off a lot of fresh tires that are going to be coming his way here when we take the green flag.
You'll have some hungry drivers behind him. I mean, Powell's been incredibly fast. Conker's been fast. Abner Acosta's there. Tyler Justice has just been hanging along here in the top 6, top 7, just kind of managing his tires, doing his own thing. I'm sure a lot of these drivers, if we pulled one up now and said, "Hey, do you want a long run to progress to go on to see if you can make things happen?" I'm sure it'd be a resounding yes. We want to see more green flag runs here. So we'll see if we can get that here, and maybe we'll see who's going to be the driver to lead us for the most consistent laps as we progress here in this race.
A lot of great racing here still to come as they are led down the back straightaway. Lights are out on the pace car. and it's going to be Elliott Butler and Steve Lovings leading them to the green flag here. The two Chevrolets, followed by, of course, Bill Petroff in his Ford. Then you have the Chevrolet of Powell, the Chevrolet of Josh Conker, and the Chevrolet of Josh Conker, your first three rows. As they come out of turn number 4, Benny, the pace car driver, about to make the hard left turn down onto pit road. And we're going to go back green flag racing here at the Magic Mile. Out of turn 4 into the restart zone. Green flag is out. And a great jump by Butler to pull away from the field as they come down the front straightaway. Here comes the 42 of Big Trouble Blower towards the back half of the field. Corey Precker, the 31 machine also. Byron McDonald, Baron Hilton machine of the 1, and Ricky Barbary involved in this.
Yeah, we'll take a look here at this replay and see what happened. But just restarts here are really, really hard. You know, they really are, because when you come through these gears, the track being what it is, it's people check up in front of you, and we'll see if... I don't see a whole lot of damage, Taylor.
I don't see any damage to the 24 of Medina that much. Let's take a look at the replay here. And it looks like just one of those issues on the restart zone. People checking up. And right there, Scotty Johnson checks up, and the accordion effect kicks in big time, collecting Precker, Hilton, Ricky Barbary, Charles Sumner. I mean, just a tough break for a lot of good cars.
Well, and that happened to me and you in the B-class race, B Open. You know, we're sitting there minding our own business. Now, granted, I was in front of you at the time. We won't rub that one in when I got wrecked. But you saw that the front part of the pack goes to, shift up and get on the gas. And then the bottleneck has to happen. The moment they barely let off and crack the throttle for a half a second, that's a ripple effect all the way back to the back, all the way back to the 12th, 13th, and then it starts to rumble from there. The guys in the back go the moment they see green, and if they're not lifting, you're not lifting at that moment, because you would expect everybody else in front of you to do it. You just take a look here with James Durr. Let's see if this starts about mid-pack. Oh my gosh, did he miss that?
I think
Good
he
for
might
you.
have.
What a miss. That's
James.
Smart driving.
Something I should have been able to, hopefully, I wish I could have done last time when we were at New Hampshire. Of course, just to give a quick update, it was me who finished in front of you, though, when the checker flag fell.
He did. All right, I won the battle, but he won the war. We'll have to test this one again. But kudos to me. At first, when I started racing and actually actively racing, I wasn't even in spitting distance of your split. If there was 2 split or 3 splits, I was third, you were top. I'm there, top split now, and I run pretty consistent. So I've had a good New Hampshire week, minus a couple no split races.
Well, we're going to see how the rest of this race is going to go. 45 laps completed, 100 laps to go. As we watch Josh Conker and Abner Acosta, the 2 private label drivers for Tommy Milner, trying to lead the field, and Ty Stover, as they will try to see if they can go back to their winning ways for the team. The only 2 drivers this season from that team to pick up wins, as they're going to see what they can do to see if they can go back to the top of the leaderboard here before it's all said and done. But it looks like Sean Powell is going to be the one to watch here in his Liquid Molly Chevrolet as we ride on board with Tyler Justice, the sister car to the Phase 2 chassis work machine.
Yeah, who's loving these cautions? First, second, and third. They don't care. They're probably over the microphone now going, boys, do your worst. Drive that sucker in the corner. Don't shift. Don't brake. Just wreck it. Keep wrecking. Bring the cautions out. Let's run out of time or let's run out of laps. It doesn't matter to them. They took this strategy of staying out. Now, if we get a 15-lap run and they're still up front and you have them still in contention, everybody should pit at that moment. You still have 4 sets of tires for most of these drivers out here. Some have 3, some have 2, depends on how many times they pit it. But this is going to be the most intriguing story, is what can the 96, the 27, and the 47 do to hold the rest of these drivers off and potentially set themselves up for a net gain of 14, 20, and 31 spots, Taylor. Get your popcorn ready, because this ain't going away.
It is not going away as another car takes it behind the wall. That's the 91 of Rye Jones. His night is done. So we will have currently 32 cars out on the racetrack as Benny, the pace car driver, will make the hard left turn down onto pit road. Barney, the flag man, has the green flag as they enter the restart zone, and Elliott Butler doesn't get that good of a jump. Finally goes a little bit of checkup in the middle pack of the field on the inside lane. Butler jumps up to the front of the field as they enter into turns 1 and 2, side by side between Petrov and Lovings, but here comes Powell trying to find the opening he needs to get into the second spot.
And this is exactly, stay field.
A little bit of bump and run right there for Sean Powell as he spins out the 47 of Bill Petroff. Chris Hudson involved in this one, multiple cars. Robert Besaw Jr., Corey Precker, a lot of good cars involved in this incident.
Oh, that was bad. I thought he had it. He was hanging on to that sucker for a second, and then boom. I mean, you look, just taps there. Just the run off the corner, you have to think, oh, what hits? The 9 got it again. 55 gets it, 1 gets it. The run that the 45 gets off the exit of the corner there is astronomically better. Absolutely better than what Bill got there. Because the fresher tires gives you more traction off the corner, allows you to be more aggressive on that throttle than what the 47 was, and that was just a chain reaction. Thanks, my sister's out there commenting on the chat too. Appreciate it, sis.
It certainly is a lot of chaotic actions here, as the caution is going to be reviewed by Race Control. I got to say, Race Control here tonight for the PRL is going to be one busy team after tonight's action.
Yeah, I mean, we've been pretty busy up here. It's National Ice Cream Day, by the way. Big ice cream fan. So everybody out there eat a bowl of ice cream. But take a look at this here again. Oh, he caught the 3. I didn't see that initial contact with the 3 into the 43. But you see the 3 backs it back. Ooh, almost got clobbered. Hey, he held on to that sucker, though, and didn't take any more damage. Maybe, just maybe, he'll get it.
And with that, Bill Petroff has been disqualified as well for not so nice things. So his night here tonight at New Hampshire is done. And it was looking over. I mean, Sean just had a better run off corner exit, unfortunately, and Bill had really nowhere to go. He was getting loose also off corner to exit.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see it here with Scotty Johnson. He's in the thick of things. You see he going on board. Oh, he had to avoid the 9. He sees 3 come down. Oh, and then he gets popped by the, is that the Pepsi machine back here?
That is the Pepsi machine. That is the 26 of Mike Witt.
I'll be danged. The soda of all sodas putting a shot. You got to, whoa, I didn't even pay attention that we got I think the battle of sodas. Got the Coke machine of Steve Loving in 27th, and you got the Pepsi machine back there as well.
We're going to have to wait and see how that will come about as we see the 96 of Elliott Butler still your race leader here tonight. 50 laps completed, as they're going to maybe get the 1 to green, I believe, this time by. Steve Lovings is going to try to see if he can stay out a little bit longer. They are still going to lead them to the green flag when we go back racing here, and they are starting to get a little bit rough on the tires. Currently, Loving's been on the track for 33 laps, while we see, of course, Butler have 24 laps on his tires. So they're getting a little bit closer to the issues at hand, as Chris Hudson also will take it behind the wall. His night is done for the number 43. 2 weeks in a row, a DNF. Not what the former points leader wants to have here this season. As we go back side by side, and we're waiting to see if it looks like Elliott Butler might be having some problems here on the track. As we're trying to determine, see what happens. Is Conker going to lead them to the green flag, or will it be Elliott Butler? Stay tuned. I think Butler might have some issues with his equipment.
Little John Cena action. We'll see if he pops back up here. But it should be Steve Loving controlling this field, but it would put him on the outside, so it would give that advantage. But if he pops back up, you know, this could be a weird scenario where if he pops back up before the restart zone, that could mess a whole lot of stuff up.
Green flag is out. Josh Conker pulls off and pulls the trigger now, and we'll see if that's going to be a penalty possibly for that. So far, no. It looks like to be that Elliott Butler is going to have some technical difficulties, so he is going to be on pit road in a sense, trying to get that fixed to rejoin the track. Tough break for Elliott Butler, and his number 96 machine was leading the field, but now it is Josh Conker back up front. Joshua Daniels moves up to P2, Acosta up to third as he'll look to the inside of Steve Loving.
Well, the fresh tires are there, and for Steve Loving, he's kind of just, he's a rock in a pond. He's going to drop to the back. All of these drivers who just came down pit road, not even 5 green flag laps ago, is just going to continue to go. And it says Bill Petroff was removed due to poor sportsmanship. So another DNF here for Bill. He's not going to be able to finish this race. Caution's out. The 57's in the grass.
Adam Zemke is around as Elliott Butler is also currently in the garage, as we would like to call it this time. He is currently having to get his computer internet fixed here. For those of you who are new to the iRacing service, as we watch the issue with Adam Zemke, it's like contact between him and Byron McDonald, and around he'll go. For drivers who race on the iRacing service, they have to make sure they have a decent internet connection in order to have a racing on these open servers that we see here. And sometimes our internet connection or an issue with our computer may cause us to disconnect. So for these drivers here, if they get a disconnect, they can rejoin still, but unfortunately it takes a little bit of time. So currently for Elliott Butler, if he chooses to, he's currently on pit road in a sense, trying to get his car or his computer all fixed back up to where he can rejoin.
Well, I mean, with the cautions coming out, he still has an opportunity to come back and go back on the lead lap to gain some track position. So if he is able to get it back and working, you know, right now he's sitting 22nd, he's 3 laps down. This would still give him an opportunity to potentially come out here and make something better than what he had. You know, obviously his net gain at that moment was plus 20. And he was up front. He was going to control the restart to take him, hopefully, to keep him the lead and wait for other people to come down in pit lane if we were to see another round of pit stops. So, now we ain't doing that.
With that, Baron Hilton will get the lucky dog. He will get his lap back and rejoin the racetrack. That now puts 24 cars on the lead lap. First car 1 lap down or multiple laps down is the 55 of James Dewar, who is currently in 25th, holding on to that 25th position 2 laps down from the field. As we see him right there, there he is, the Loves Racing Machine, the W Chevrolet. As he'll see if he can pick up a couple of spots, get maybe one of his laps back, and maybe have a shot to get a good finish here tonight.
Bunch of fruit on the hood. Been seeing a whole lot of that W stuff going around. They just came out and started sponsoring gamers. Cool thing that brand's been doing out here to introduce themselves to iRacing and introduce themselves to the sim world, to come out and show support. And these drivers are doing a good job being that ambassador for them. Obviously, the 55 machine's got a little wrestling thing on there that drawing Alexa Bliss has, the wrestler there. But you could use code, what's that, JJD Racing. Yeah, you get, I think, what's that say, 15 or 10% off? I can't read it, small smudge. I think it's 15% off.
Might be, so we'll have to go take a look at that, but we're now still under caution once again, as we are going to see what will happen here. Of course, the PRL still got a lot of great racing action all throughout the week. I mean, you have Monday night, also Tuesday night racing, Wednesday night with the Truck Series that Joey and Terry will cover, Thursday night with Formula 3. I mean, you have GT racing on Monday and Tuesday, so if you want to have a go and race in the PRL, it is one of the top leagues out there that provides multiple different racing all throughout the week, excluding Friday and Saturday. So if you want to have something fun for you to do during the week in the league, you can do that in the PRL as the lights are out on the pace car. It's going to be Josh Conker and Joshua Daniels who will lead them to the green flag, followed by Sean Powell and Abner Acosta, Steve Lovings, and Tyler Justice, your top 6.
Yeah, this league also gives an opportunity for guys like me and you to come out here and call a race not on European time. or it's not noon Eastern, it's 8, 9 Eastern, where we're wide awake and our producer is normally half asleep or really hungry by the time we drop the green flag.
Hey, he's the hardest working man, I have to say, in all of iRacing, as well as Hugo Luis, one of the best producers out there. He's going to really put on a good show. Who are happy to have you to provide all these great camera angles, sound, and vision as Benny, the pace car driver, makes the hard left turn. Elliott Butler does rejoin the track, so he'll be back on soon as we are back underway here at New Hampshire. Conker and Daniels will race down into turn 1. Conker will pull out in front of Daniels and lead into turn 1.
Oh, and it's 3 wide back there, a little further back in the mid-pack, but it's no harm, no foul. They get it 2 wide again. You see Daniels and Acosta, they're working side by side. Looks like Acosta is going to get this run going into 3 with Sean Powell all over the back bumper here. But now the 77, he charges back to the outside, washes up, and he'll get the run off the corner. Should be able to clear him as they come off of 4. Still drag racing.
Drag race indeed. He's going to have a little help from Sean Powell, who will try to see which line he will take. He'll take the inside lane to the inside of the race spot machine of Joshua Daniels. The Phase 2 Chassis Works driver, 45 of Sean Powell, still holds strong as Daniels gets loose, still holds on to the race car. Tyler Justice will follow suit down the back straightaway heading into turn 3. Powell moves up a spot. Justice will now battle with Daniels as we see the 89 of Eric Hagg watching onto the Ford.
Man, that made me jump out of my chair. You saw him. The 77 almost tagged that wall, got really, really loose, and that could have been big. That would have triggered a multi-car wreck because those 2 cars potentially could have blocked this racetrack. As now you're going to see the 89 machine of Hagg. He's going to get below Daniels here and try to get another spot. That machine, that 77, looks awfully loose off the exit of these corners. You see him, he's starting to just creep up there into the black portion, getting out of the groove, and he gets off the corner. That time he was perfect, great execution, but they're looser in the back.
Eric Hagg trying to get to the inside of Daniels. Skip Gandy watches on or Pat Harvey and Skip Gandy watch on in 7th and 8th that they come out of turn number 2. You're right on board with Pat Harvey and that 67 Toyota for the SGE Esports Octane machine. As they dive it back into turn 3 and 4, you just gotta see if he can find the opening. He needs to get around these 2 competitors out of turn 4. Not close enough to make anything happen as we see Justice gets loose off of turn 4.
Yeah, these corner speeds that you see coming out of here when they're shifting out of 4th, going back to 5th, trying to keep the momentum in these next-gen cars, it's really taking a toll on these rear tires. It's having a lot more wheel spin than what I was expecting. When you start to hear that throttle and you hear them trying to float and ease into it, it's making it a lot harder to go full mat throttle. As you take a look at the 07 of Scotty Johnson, he's in an absolute hornet's nest back here. He's trying to go side by side. Keep the momentum out there on the outside lane. Walden's going to get by, and now we're going to see him. 55 and 1 make contact.
55 machine of James Dewar is currently trying to stay 2 laps down right now. He's the first car laps down at this time as he's trying to see if he can get one of those laps back. Scotty Johnson's in 22nd, although Walden is in 21st in the 84 machine. There you see Baron Hilton, who's been involved in a couple of incidents here tonight. He sits in that 23rd position as they work through the middle of turns 3 and 4. There you see the 21 of Luke Christian in 14th as they rocket across the start-finish line. 64 laps completed here at this time, and we're closing in on the 1 hour completed, 30 minutes to go. Looking at how time is, I think it's safe to say, Terry, we are going to probably finish this race on times instead of the 145 laps, unless we don't get another caution here throughout the rest of the race. Luke Christian's in the 14th position in the 21, looking to work his way up to Eric Papineau in the 37. He's got Steve Lovings in his sights as well. As they work their way across the start-finish line, he will move up as the caution is out.
And caution flags out here, but that's a good run so far for Christian. You know, he's right there. He rotated the corner really well and was able to mat the throttle off exit, which allowed him to get around Papineau. But here we go. Who's going to pit? As you see the 62, that's Mark Kalin. Just got in there too hot, and that was all it wrote.
Whataback Racing Machine not having the best of nights here, indeed, as he will make his way down pit road, and none of the front runners yet are pitted. They got to catch up to the pace car, and we'll find out who will make that run down on pit road. There's Benny trying to get onto the racetrack to catch up, and get in front of Josh Conker, your race leader, as they come out of turn number 2. So now the question is, who will come down pit road this time? They've been out on the track currently for about 27 laps, so we'll see if anyone decides to come down pit road this time around, Terry. I think it's safe to say maybe some of your front runners might, maybe some of your mid-pack drivers might, but it's going to be a determination of who it will be as they work their way towards pit entrance. Who will come down pit road so far? Not your leader, or second, or third. But a couple of drivers towards the middle of the field Sean Powell will lead them. So third on back will do that. Everybody else will either choose to come down or stay out. Good group of drivers decided to come down pit road as James Dewar will get one of his laps back, and he will now be 1 lap down instead of 2.
This is massive. 8 drivers stay on the racetrack. Conker, Acosta, Gandy, Walter, Medina, Zemke, Precker, and Walden all stay on the racing surface while the rest of the drivers come down pit lane. Now, Taylor, I know this might be a bold prediction, but and I think we will stay green to the end here, that smells trouble for, I would say, 5 of these drivers. I don't see if these drivers are able, when they get back on here, Powell wins the race off pit road, if they can get around all of them based off the time situation. And obviously we should take the green flag. We should roughly have about 26 minutes remaining in the race, so I don't necessarily see a whole lot of catching them, because I still don't see us, we haven't put a whole lot of laps on these tires, so we'll see if they catch him up there. But Powell's been really fast, but he really hasn't had a whole lot for Abner Acosta and Josh Conker.
We'll have to wait and see if this is going to happen. Currently, right now, it's looking to be just about 5 minutes till we hit the 1 hour mark. So I'd have to say just about 40 minutes left to go here on the clock. 68 laps completed. It's going to be very tight. It's something major would have to happen. We'd probably have more cautions to really confirm, but I think it's going to be really close on the time to compare to laps on whether or not we will finish this race under the full distance or not.
I'm not very good at math, so this really isn't my strong suit. I do know that a box of ice cream normally comes with 10. And if I eat 5 of them, I have 5 left. Unless I'm just really, half the time I'm kind of dumb and I go in there and I forget that I ate all of them, and I still have ice cream. I don't have ice cream in the box. But somehow, some way, Taylor, ice cream always reappears in my freezer. I don't know where it comes from, but it's always there.
Might have to thank your wife on that one.
I don't think she's watching, but honey, thank you for buying ice cream.
Field now double back up here as we go back racing once again at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We're happy to have you with us here on RaceSpot. There's one of the hardest working men in iRacing, Benny the pace car driver. He's pretty much everywhere.
That's a good shot.
It is a good shot. He could be here, of course, in the beautiful granite state of New Hampshire. He could be over in Japan. He can be over in France, the UK, you name it. You will find Benny the pace car driver in that iRacing pace car, leading any field of drivers all across the iRacing service. And he's coming up to his brother, who's going to be vigorously waving the green flag. Barney, the flag man, is going to be hard at work once again, getting a good workout tonight here at New Hampshire for him. As there you see him, green flag is out. We're back underway here at New Hampshire, and Josh Conker gets another great jump on the field as we work their way down into turns 1 and 2. A gaggle of cars trying to work their way through. New tires versus old tires. Who's going to come out on top? Out of turn number 2, 3 wide with Sean Powell, Corey Precker, and Waldo Walden as they come down the back straightaway. Throw in also Eric Hagg in the mix as they go down into turn 3.
What I brought up, the point, is look how hard Sean Powell's having to work there on the bottom. He's tearing his stuff up more than those drivers that are running that outside and out and middle groove. So while getting fresh tires is always an advantage at some point in time, at a place like this, or a place like Martinsville, or a place like Richmond, you necessarily can't come charging through this field like you would, say, at a Kansas or a Chicagoland or some massive racetrack that has multiple grooves without having to lift a ton. This track, you have to roll that corner, and you have to hope that the driver in front of you isn't bottlenecked with another driver. If they were single file, my money's on Sean Powell. Take it like Fry did in Futurama. But I don't see this necessarily being an advantage, as some of these drivers are 2-3 wide right in front of them, and oh, there's a car around.
Caution is out for Pat Harvey, who goes looping it around in front of the field. No one makes contact with him. Big save indeed for the 67 machine. And to give you an update on who is the highest driver with the least amount of tire use, it is going to be Eric Hagg. He sits in 6th position as we take a look at the replay. And it looks like Harvey, did he get help or did he loop it around on his own? I think he just went a little too low, and yes, indeed, just got that looseness off of turn 2, and surprisingly, nobody makes contact with him. Great drive for everybody else.
Yeah, everybody missed him, and that's a tough spot to be loose. I mean, you see him, he's going to get sideways here. He'll go to the bottom, and everybody did a great job of checking up. Even when they were too wide, they still was in sync, drove up there and just, waved goodbye out the window. But I'll say something about that pace car. That thing had a good motor under it. That sucker sounded like one of these things idling. I don't know, he might have some speed. He's led a lot of laps.
He is currently your leader of the most laps here tonight. Is none other than Benny the pace car driver, and of course he knows how to get around this track with this car. I mean, he's got 3 or 4, actually he's got 4 different choices of cars to go out there and race around any circuit he chooses. As we see the famous Barney the Flagman with the yellow flag in hand here, as he has to hold it up vigorously this entire time, as the lucky dog of James Stewart will now come around the track to get back on the lead lap. So we will now have 25 cars on the lead lap here.
Hey, Barney works hard too. Trust me, the moment that green flag gets to waving, he's really out there. He's flying that sucker, and sometimes you think maybe he's going to drop it. There's no way the amount of cautions that man sees in any race, whether it's an A Open, a B Open, a C Open, or the fixed, or any of the multitudes of races that we see across the board. I mean, just last night I went from Daytona racing the road course in a Mazda, and then I went and slung some dirt in a street stock, which, by the way, I am awful on dirt. I don't know what I'm doing. They tell me I'm supposed to, go sideways. I can't figure that out. But what an awesome time. And everywhere you go, you get to see that beautiful face right there, and he's always waving the corresponding flag, and a couple times he's waved the black at me.
Well, we know one thing for certain: he is always busy and always the hardest working man in iRacing, as he will hold that yellow flag in hand here. We're happy to have you here with us here, having a little fun at the Magic Mile here in the Granite State of New Hampshire. As we watch this race here, this is race number 4 of season 3 of the 2022 PRL season. And currently we have completed 75 laps out of 145. We have crossed over the hour time limit here. So about 30 minutes left to go in this race, depending on time. As we see who will come out on top. Will it be the laps or the time? We'll find out. Josh Conker, Abner Acosta, your top 2. Then it's Skip Gandy, Brandon Walters, Adam Zemke, your top 5. Eric Hagg, Walter Walden, Trent Dinkle, who's had a chaotic night with many issues, is in 8th. Jose Medina and Danny Cervantes rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, this is exactly what the drivers who stayed out wanted. You look at the pit lap for some of these drivers. You got 38 for Conker, 38 for Acosta, 49 for Walter. Skip Gandy came in on lap 38 and lap 39 for Adam Zemke. And Walden came down on lap 55. So Eric Hagg sitting down there in the 6th position. Not making up a whole lot of moves, not making up a whole lot of spots, but he's there. And Trent Dinkle, he's back in the mix too, by the way.
He certainly is, and we're going to see if he's going to be able to fight his way up through the field, as Barney the Flagman has that green flag in hand. He's going to be ready to wave it as they enter into the iRacing restart zone. As they come out of turn number 4, Conker will lead them as they enter the restart zone. Green flag is back out. We're racing here at New Hampshire once again.
Look at that man waving the flag. What an awesome shot. And what a good little scale view here to see these cars take off. That's a portrait shot for you if you want to take a snap of that one. Our amazing producer, still green, and it's single file in the first 6 spots.
Single file action as we see a couple of cars jockeying for position. A little bit of a wiggle woggle right there for one of those competitors as they're trying to work their way through the middle of turn 3 and 4, 2 and 3 wide, middle back of the field between Lovings and Waldo. Throw in Adam Zemke, who's had a very difficult night. He's now inside the top 10 this time, in 7th. Looking to see here if he can move up spot as we see Jose Medina try to get into the top 10 in 13th.
Yeah, we watched him go around at one point in time tonight, and he's rebounded excellently up here to the 13th position. He's watching the 2 battle in front of him, Hogard, and I believe that would be Walden that's down there. As you see Loving, he's making contact with the 77 of Daniels, trying to push him out of the racing groove to maybe get that spot on the low side. But our fresh tires are starting to come through this field, Taylor.
They certainly are, and they are really putting the effort onto there as they come out of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. As one driver had some issues, Eric Hag is struggling right now, trying to find a way around Danny Cervantes in the 25 machine. Skip Gandy in front of him. Here comes Trent Dinkle into the mix as he will come out into the 3rd position.
Yeah, I mean, we're starting to see those tires start to progress up. Dinkle's up to 3rd. Gandy's working his way up. You got Hag in there in the 5th place position, getting a run right now, trying to get battling with Danny Cervantes. Cervantes is still fresh tires too, so don't count him out as he falls back to 6th, and now we're going to get a run on the 20. Try not to overdrive this. Try not to make contact with the driver in front of you. We don't need a repeat of what happened on the old tires with the new tires there.
Oh, we certainly do not here, and we're going to see this drivers trying to jockey for position here as they come back into turns 1 and 2. And do we see Brandon Walter struggling? He's one of those drivers who decided to stay out. And one car around, is that Sean Powell? It is, and he keeps it out of the wall. Will he come up on the track and cause a caution? Yes, indeed, as one other car goes around, 2 more actually.
Yeah, I don't think that caution was for Powell. I think it was for the drivers at the 26 and the other car that was spinning in the grass there. What a save from Powell. You know, slid it all through the corner. We take a look at what he did here. Just got on the bottom, and the seam is not your friend, Powell. The seam is not your friend. Keeps it off the wall, gets her back straight. You see the 26 got loose, and the 8 just got right in the back bumper. Nowhere to go for the 67. That's fresh tires, loose track. Not your friends. They're not a good combo. It's not peanut butter and jelly out here.
No, it certainly is not, as we're under caution once again. And we are closing in on running out of time here tonight here at the action at the virtual New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We leave this 1 mile magic oval and we head to the very long 2 mile triangle that's going to be happening next week, Pocono Raceway. And I gotta say, as we see drivers come down pit road, I believe Josh Conker will stay out, Trent Dinkle will stay out, but Abner Acosta will lead a field of cars down pit road.
Yeah, I mean, that's I'm surprised, actually, because they stayed out. We're still running, you know, up front. They were still there. I mean, obviously they saw that Trent Dinkle's coming. They saw that he's up to 2nd. They saw that Cervantes had come up to 3rd. That's an interesting move. I'm not sure I would have done that.
Interesting call. We'll see if it plays out for Josh Conker or Trent Dinkle. More time will tell here as we're going to see the private label team Hype Black driver of Josh Conker. He's not racing on the iRacing service. He's actually a go-kart driver competing in the SCUSA Karting National Championship season, as he will be looking forward to heading out over to New Jersey for some testing before heading over to Newcastle for one of the rounds in the SCUSA Championship Series.
I believe if the flag is correct on his car there, a Canadian, one of the best national anthems. I would sing it, but I'm sure we would lose all of our viewers if I started singing out here. But good run. This is a good run for him. I mean, his lap times have been just as well as the drivers that are around him. He's been one of the faster drivers on the track. Eric Hagg laid down a 30.79. He bested that with a 30.73. And looking up and down the scoring sheet, he would be the second fastest driver behind Abner Acosta if we were to be scoring that. So not a lot of slow speeds out of him. I'm sorry, the third, because Sean Powell laid down the 30.6. So he'd be the third fastest driver based off of the 1 lap time here. I wouldn't necessarily take him out of the running here. Old tires or not, he's got some speed under that car.
He certainly does. Keep an eye on the 54 machine as we're about to go back green flag racing once again. It'll be 2 private label drivers on the front row, followed by Danny Cervantes, Joshua Daniels, and Joseph Hogard, your winner at Atlanta last week.
Maybe go 2 for 2. See if he can come back.
He's going to try his best to do that here. He's got fresh tires. He's had a good car so far. And we're going to see there's currently 2 drivers inside the top 10 who have not pitted in the past 20 laps. That is, of course, Josh Conker and the 24 of Jose Medina. As we're going to get a hold of delay on the pre-start. Guess well, race officials did not like how they were lining up, as another driver has taken it behind the wall, the 96 of Elliott Butler. His night is going to be done.
Well, go around one more time. You know, everybody was lining up there. This has been a race of survival. I mean, you can't say anything less than that. You've had to survive a lot. A lot of these drivers. I mean, we started with 34, and we've whittled it down to who's going to survive at the end, who can make these moves happen, who can stay out of trouble and keep their car intact. And I honestly would say, you've seen cars up front now. I mean, Trent Dinkle was involved in 2 accidents, Taylor, and here he sits P2 with a chance to win this race. That speaks for, one, the level of talent he's got, and also speaks for this car and the damage model that iRacing put out to not take him out of the running just by brushing the wall like it did before when this model came out. So kudos to iRacing and for Trent Dinkle for coming back and not just quitting after the second incident and going, oh, my race is over. He's fought, and he has a chance of winning. He just got to beat his teammate.
He does, and he's got 20 minutes to do that here as we are getting ready to take the green flag once again. Benny, the pace car driver, will make that hard left turn down on the pit road. Barney, the flag man, holds the green flag in hand as they enter into the restart zone. As green flag is out, we're back racing here, and a great jump by Josh Conker over Trent Dinkle. Danny Cervantes holds on to third. Here comes Daniels in fourth as they rocket into turns 1 and 2. It's a 1-2 for the private label team. Whataback is in third, followed by the Love Racing Machine of Joshua Daniels, and Joseph Hogard rounds out your top 5 as they come out of turn 2.
And Statty in the chat said the delayed start due to a Massey coming to a complete stop at the end of an open pit lane. So driver coming to a stop there delayed the start, but we're back racing now. And you see them 3 wide there, almost going 4. They checked up a ton on that restart, Taylor. The second, third lane didn't seem to get the launch that I expected them to get. They bottlenecked the field. A lot of drivers were making front end contact there. And there's a couple noses that are dented in as we're 3 wide again. Back here behind them, the 89's under the 07, and they had small contact going into the corner, but they keep her straight. Here we go.
Here we go, down into turns 3 and 4. It's Lovings versus Johnson side by side. How about Brandon Walters trying to find an opening? 3 wide behind them as they come out of turn number 4. Great racing action here as we see Powell trying to work his way back up to the field after his incident.
Got to try to rebound some way, and if he can stick it 3 wide, go ahead and stick it there, but don't go lower than you have to. Work that middle to outside lane. Don't go down there where it's a whole lot clearer. You see the distinctive grooves going into the corner. The outside lane's got a ton of rubber, and so does the middle. That bottom lane has not come in yet. It's slick. It's hot. There hasn't been any rubber laid down there, or at least not a whole lot. It's not as it's clear as day. I mean, it's almost whiter than I am at the moment. So we're going to have to see what we can do, but Precker here, he sees some opportunities in front of him if he can just get around this 21 and maybe hope they go single file.
He's going to try to fight his hardest here as they work their way out of turn number 2 down the front back straightaway. Corey Precker currently sitting in 21st, wanting to break into the top 20 before this is all said and done as they work their way through the middle of turns 3 and 4. Christian in 20th as we watch Pat Harvey and the 69 machine or 89 machine of Eric Hagg battle for 13th.
Yeah, they've been going at each other for a while now. You don't want to overcharge this corner. Just save some tires here. Ride. Just relax. It's okay. You see the 5 and the 1 swapping positions after Acosta working back through the field on the freshest tires of this one so far, up here in the 9th place position. And granted, they've only put maybe 5 or 6 laps down there. It works, and that's what's going to move this field. You see the fresh tires starting to come up here and make a little bit more of adjustment. As Acosta, he passed Medina, he's up to 8. Can we see him make a charge to the front as he's only about 3 seconds or 2 seconds behind race leader Conker?
And what's funny is, as we see a pass for the race lead, as Trent Dinkle will look to the inside of his teammate of Josh Conker out of turn number 4. And will he clear him? The answer is going to be yes. Trent Dinkle has overcome adversity all night, and once again, he is back up towards the front of the field.
Yeah, I mean, what a story. What a redemption story for that 9 machine. Goes into the wall, has a spin, comes back up here, leading the race on lap 93. And his hope is that Conker can keep Danny Cervantes behind him or fight him long enough to allow that 9 machine to get away, to possibly get about a second lead. It's because you don't want a guy like Cervantes on your back bumper. And teammate blocking for him.
Big block right there by Josh Conker on Danny Cervantes. This opens the door for Joshua Daniels and Tyler Justice to get in on the mix, as those 4 will battle for second place out of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. More cars jockeying for position as Abder Acosta is now closing in to Joseph Hogard in that 6th position. As we see Cervantes try to take the long way around over Josh Conker as they come out of turn number 4, but Daniels will cross over to the inside. He wants 3rd spot away.
Right there for Conker. Your guys got the race lead. Keep going. Hold these drivers up. But we have to see what race control thinks about that. A lot of places frown upon blocking to that magnitude. He could have drove him all the way to the grass. You saw how committed he was to keeping that position in P2. Caution comes out. One's around again.
Baron Hilton in his machine is around once again. Tough break for that team, as we'll take a look and see what happens to him. But safe to say, I think it might be, once again, the looseness off of turn number 2 strikes again.
Yeah. You go low, but you pay the price. And you touch the seam, you got to pay the seam a toll. And paying the toll to the seam is going around, losing the control of the car. They'll go back and watch this race, and they'll be like, dang, I shouldn't have hit that seam. Yeah, that seam will bite you.
Seam will bite you indeed, as we are under caution once again. And looking at the time, about now 14 minutes left to go on the clock. We're approaching now just about 45 laps left to go in the race. It's going to be close. I think we're going to probably still have the race end under time under what we have here, as we see now Josh Conker wave the flag. He is now going to come down pit road.
Big mix of strategy again. This is Cervantes comes in, Hoggard comes in, Loving's in, Harvey's in,
McDonald comes in.
Yeah, this is it's a mixed bag. I'm still not sure. I'm not sure about that call. We don't have a whole lot of time to go. You would imagine that we would have stayed on the racetrack there. I would have kept blocking for my teammate. Now you got a hard charge in 77 and a 6 and a 5 back there that is just chomping at the bit. Now, knowing that he has a little bit of damage, Dinkle's not necessarily going to be the fastest driver there. He still might. He has speed in the car, but there's some damage to the front of that machine that might make him a sitting duck, because the 77 was a tad bit faster there on that run.
Going to be a very tad bit interesting to see how this final few laps are going to go for Trent Dinkle. He's got Joshua Daniels, Tyler Justice, and Acosta now breaks into the top 5. So going to be curious to see what Acosta will do. He does have the freshest tires out of the top 4 right now. Eric Papineau in 5th. Great run for him. He's been needing to have all season long.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers who are up here in the front, some of them needed a good run, and this is going to be good for a lot of these teammates who are all sitting up here racing with one another. We just have to hope that when you're up here and you're battling for these positions towards the latter parts, obviously with time being a major factor, we're not going to get, you know, the remainder of this race in under laps. You're going to have to hope that everybody's kind and courteous here. You don't want to just hang on somebody's door and wash them up the racetrack. If you're going to get the position, you know, give them a little bit of a shot off the exit of the corner, or maybe on the entry of the corner, to just, you can't take the air off of these cars like you could in the Gen 6, but here in these next gen cars, you really have to ride up on the back bumper of them and kind of drive their car for them. You want to get right there where that diffuser is, take a little bit of the aero off of it and move it just a little bit. Just move it about a ½ inch up the racetrack to get that run. But I just hope that, you know, everybody drives each other, you know, like you would want to be driven. The old golden rule.
Treat others how you want to be treated, and we'll see how that comes into effect for these driving here tonight amongst your top 6. As the single lights are out on the pace car, we're back double file. It is going to be Dinkle, Daniels, Justice, Acosta, Papineau, your top 5.
Any money, any bets on who's winning this?
I'm not making any bets, because you know what? All bets are off. All these drivers are going to give it 110% here as we are closing in on 10 minutes left to go in this race. A lot of things are going to happen here as Benny the pace car driver is about to make that hard left turn out of harm's way. And we're going to see who will win here tonight.
My bet's on the 6.
Here comes Tyler Justice. He's going to be behind Trenton Dinkle as they come into the restart zone. A big jump right there by Dinkle as he was playing some games here, and he was working his way through, and he will get a good lead over the field. Tyler Justice now will look to the inside of Daniels.
Yeah, he's going to go side by side. He'll go to the middle. He worked the bottom there for a second, and then he washed back up and got the run off the exit. They'll drag race down here, and this is exactly what the 9 wants to see. He wants to see 2x2 action. He doesn't want to see him go single file, because then that allows them to continuously carry the speed. The 77 gets out of the groove. Taylor.
Trouble for the 77 as he goes out of the racing groove. This opens the door for Tyler Justice to look to the inside. Acosta tries to see if he can find an opening to send it on in, as we see Eric Hag in 5th position, watching and waiting in the catbird seat.
Yeah, 77s, he's straddling that line of right there on the outside all the way to the middle, and now we're going 3 wide. Here comes Acosta. He's coming to the bottom. Can they make this stick into 3?
They're going to try to, as Justice leans on the inside quarter panel of Daniels. 3 wide out of turn number 4.
Well, that don't work too often, but it worked right there. We'll see if they can continue. Abner Acosta's going to back out of that, keep them 2x2. Exactly what this 9 wants to see. He's pulled out 7/10 of a second. The 6 is going to get a nose out in front. He's not going to clear him here because he's loose off the exit of the corner. There he goes. He clears him now. Caution's out.
I'll have to wait and see if it makes it stick here, or will he have to give it off, as Ricky Barbary is in trouble once again, as he is trying to get it straightened back up and rejoin onto the racing circuit. We'll take a look and see what happened to that number 19 machine.
Anybody want to bet on the seam?
Let's see. Take a look, and he sends it in a little too deep, the 19, and oh no, actually the one of Hilton and Scotty Johnson, and poor Ricky Barbary had nowhere to go.
My money's still on the seam that got the 1 there.
I think the seam strikes again.
The seam strikes again. That could be a good title for some of these open races that we've been in. The seam is definitely striking people. This has just been a tough race for a lot of these drivers. The 1s had a tough one. The 19s had a tough one. I mean, you could literally throw a dart out here and say, you could probably throw a dart and hit somebody who has been in trouble before you hit somebody who hasn't been in trouble here this afternoon.
It certainly is, and Baron Hilton has definitely been one of those ones who's struggled all night with the groove. He's had a couple of good runs, but now I think it's safe to say that that number 1 machine is done for the night as far as to get in contention for any major positions. So we'll have to keep track of him here as the field will work their way around under caution. Closing in on 5 minutes left to go in the race, so we'll see how many more laps we will get to run under green or under yellow, as it looks like the 98 of Charles Sumner will get one of his laps back.
Well, if my math's correct, then 90% of the time it is not. We were running about 31-second laps. So I know that 1 minute is 2 laps, and we're running 1 minute lap times under the yellow flag. So this is wiping it down. We'll take it here. We'll still have, should be 2 to green when we come around here. So there's two minutes wiped off. So I'd say we get about 4 or 5 to go, maybe 6 when we take the green flag. So 6 laps should wipe in this one up.
We'll see what happens here as there's 40 laps left to go in the race and just about 7 minutes left to go on the clock. So we'll keep you up posted on how this will look as we're under caution once again and see how things will go.
I'm not a math guy. It's never been my thing. I would fail if somebody handed me a math test. Now I can count money, but math just isn't the thing. We have 8 minutes and 36 seconds in this race. Maybe 2 more cautions, and it's whoever's out front's got it.
Got to thank our producer Hugo for helping us out with the math here on the timer here.
That's our guy.
That is our guy, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Hugo Louis, is working hard to get things ready to go, as we'll hopefully go back green flag racing.
Always on spot. Hit us with the Benny. Hit us with Barney. Gave us a nice portrait shot. And pre-race, I was trying to, get him hungry. He talked about not having dinner, and brought up the amazing baked potato my wife made for supper. It's super delicious. And then we found out that, Hugo's going to have a burger after this. And what I think it was I deliver or something, what they have in his neck of the woods for like our DoorDash.
I guess so. Well, hopefully the man gets to eat, because I know for a fact I would be starving if I didn't get to eat and had to do a broadcast.
I'm sorry, but Ellie comes over. I'm starving again just thinking about that burger he was talking about.
As we see Benny, the pace car driver, getting ready to make that hard left turn on the pit road. 7 minutes, 12 seconds and counting here left to go in the race for us tonight here at New Hampshire as they come out of turn 4. Green flag is out for Trenton Dinkle as we see Tyler Justice able to keep pace with him as they head down into turn 1. Acosta and Daniels will battle for 3rd as Skip Gandy watches on in 5th.
Oh, and somebody's got to be in their ear letting them know how much time's remaining on this. Race control probably, I would hope, spoke up, said, hey, you guys only have, 7 minutes on this clock. So what's Justice going to do? Is he going to give him a shot? Is the bump and run going to be what we see wins this race? Or is it just going to be a clean pass? Can he get around him? It looks like right now Dinkle's fast off the exit of the corner, and it's 2 by 2, and there's not a whole lot of traffic. There's a traffic jam back here and not a whole lot of room to get around them.
They are running identical tires as they last time. They both have 41-lap tires. Abner Acosta has 25-lap-old tires as we see Tyler Justice in 2nd place. Both of them running down the back straightaway. Dinkle was faster than Justice last time by about a 10th over the field as they come through the middle of turns 3 and 4. Let's take a look at the lap times here between these two. As they come across the line, Dinkle with a 38, Tyler Justice with a 38.3, and Acosta a 10th faster as well with a 37. As we're going to go 3 wide into turn 1. Walters, Hogard, and Precker as Precker gets turned by Lovings. There goes Sean Powell. We're still going to stay green as Precker holds on. No, he will not. Pat Harvey in the wall. Will we see a caution? The answer is going to be yes, indeed.
Saved, had it saved, and then you see the look on Justice's face. I think he knows that his time is running out here, literally and physically running out on him. Nice, promotion shot there with the liquid molly poster right there next to him, holding it up with the guitar with it in the background. So definitely putting the promo stuff. And I wonder if he's a Chase Elliott fan with that shirt on. But had it saved, couldn't necessarily get back on the throttle and stick it back down, and just hard contact there.
Like Steve Lovings and Precker make contact. Precker had pretty much almost had it saved there. You see Sean Powell get loose, and then out of two, he had nowhere to go. Pat Harvey makes contact. They collect a couple of others. Skip Mike Witt as well. And Sean Powell and Barron Hilton will take it behind the wall. Their nights are done here as well at New Hampshire. They're ready to move on to Pocono here in a week's time.
Yeah, and Nick Hunter out there, race control, 14 cautions, 54 laps under caution. And obviously with this, this would be our 15th caution. And this won't end the race, Taylor, but it gets it very close to the time that, that lap was 53 seconds under a lap. Now, when they come across here, it should be over a minute that we'll be pacing around here. So with 2 to go, on the green, before we see the green flag, this is dwindling laps down. We could see a green-white-checkered finish, a uniquely green-white-checkered finish.
It's going to be very unique indeed, and we're still not close to the record here for a PRL caution. That is currently at 23, so still a little bit of work to do, but not enough time really to do that. Hopefully we don't have any more cautions. We can maybe get a finish under green flag conditions, possibly.
Well, I'm sure that's what Abner Acosta and Tyler Justice want to see, because, Abner Acosta was quick, and he was putting up 1/10 of a second faster. If he could get a launch on the restart there behind Trent Dinkel, there's an opportunity that he goes and contends for this win if we get a short run. Obviously, once we get longer, you start to see more drivers like Daniels and Hag come into the equation. But if we can see a green flag run here to the end with just now 3 minutes remaining.
3 minutes remaining as we're looking at our pace car driver, Benny. Lights are still on his, so we're going to keep going for at least another lap. We'll see if he's going to turn the lights off, and we'll see if we'll get to have at least a green and white checker.
Well, 1 minute and 7 seconds is what we put down there, Taylor, for the lead cars. So if the lights stay on here, that would put us right at 2 minutes when they come across the line, or a little bit above 2 minutes. And so then one more should put us at about 130-ish, if my math is right, or 140-ish. This is going to be a quick run to the finish.
It is going to be a quick run as the lights are out on the pace car as we get in 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the 2-minute warning here for tonight.
That puts it to 4 to go. So this should be 3 to go once they take the green flag here. So yes, a green-white-checkered finish, 1 lap shy potentially. They should take this green flag, yeah, about 130, 129-ish, roughly in that area. So
race control reminding the drivers to at least let us get to the white flag here, and let's finish this race under green flag conditions, as Benny, the pace car driver, will get out of harm's way down on pit road, and Barney the flagman will let them go into the restart zone and wave the green flag, possibly for the final time, as they come out of the corner and restart once again. Dinkel and Justice battle side by side. Justice sends it in deep. Dinkel will hold strong in the middle lane as Justice really trying to put the pressure on him as they work out of turn number 2. Caution is out though, and that is race indeed, as it looks like trouble for several cars.
Yeah, that's Cervantes and them. They're all around, and that all triggered from around the 10th place position where that took off. And yeah, that's race over. We would have had 1 to go when they came across the line anyhow. Justice sailed it in there. I thought he was going to make it stick, but he didn't want to wreck Dinkel. As you take a look here, the 25's on the outside. He's just going to get swept up. The 54's going around. There's nowhere for him to go. All of these drivers, the 57 goes colliding into this, the 24, the 26. The 8 got a piece of it. couple free spots for some of these drivers around here. But that's your race winner in the 9, Tyler Dinkle, Trent Dinkle, 2 wrecks, race win.
Certainly is, and as they continue on here, and as the white flag should be waving here, as the yellow flag, as there you see Barney just vigorously waving yellow flag. Final lap here as Trent Dinkle, with the biggest recovery drive of the season, I'd have to say, looking to come back after getting spun out by his teammate Acosta last week at Atlanta, will redeem himself with a win here at New Hampshire.
Yeah, and you need to see, just not too long ago, we were taking a look at the onboard with him, and he was on his keyboard typing. And now here he is, and still, you know, just focused and ready to go. I'm sure he'll be even more excited when he comes up here and talks to us as he wins this race. And I'm sure that he wanted to win it under green, but hey, a win's a win.
Gotta pick up the wins where you can, and he is one happy camper smiling at this, as this is a recovery drive he will remember for months and years to come. Out of turn number 4, the number 9 private label Ethica Chevrolet of private label Team Hype will come across the start finish line and win at New Hampshire. That this race is over. 15 cautions here for tonight.
16. Forgot the last one. 16 cautions for 60 laps here this afternoon.
And with that, we'll allow our driver of Trent Dinkle to celebrate the victory here. We'll give him a few moments and we'll talk to him, and we'll go also over your full field rundown of tonight's race. There you see your winner, Trent Dinkle, winning here at New Hampshire.
Good burnout.
Good burnout indeed. And that number 9.
Oh, the wall.
Clobbers the wall. As the field gets set ready to go for the action here. We'll see a lot of great racing here still to come throughout this week. And with that, of course, Trent Dinkle is your race winner after 116 laps, followed by Tyler Justice, Abner Acosta in 3rd, Joshua Daniels in 4th with Eric Hagg in 5th, Josh Conker comes home in 6th with Skip Gandy in 7th, Eric Papanoy in 8th with Adam Zemke 9th, Steve Lovings rounds out your top 10. Moving on to P11 is going to be Byron McDonald with Luke Christians in 12th. 5th, 13th is Tom Macy with Scotty Johnson 14th. 15th, Danny Cervantes with Jose Medina in 16th. Waldo Walden 17th. Brandon Walters in 18th. 19th, James Dewar, the last car on the lead lap with Joseph Hogard, 1 lap down in 20th. 21st will go to as Mike Witt, followed by Pat Harvey. Corey Precker in 23rd with Sean Powell, who set the fastest lap of the race in 24th. Charles Sumner in 25th. Baron Hilton, Ricky Barbary, Mark Kalin, Robert Besaw Jr., and Elliott Butler round out your top 30. As the rest of the field goes as followed in 31st position, as we see Chris Hudson, Bill Petroff will be disqualified, Ry Jones, and Joao Guerrera rounds out your 34-car field. And with that, we will give an opportunity to talk to your race winners here momentarily as we wait for them to make their way over into the booth. Of course, that will be Trent Dinkle as well as the rest of the field as they come on in to get ready to talk about tonight's action. And I gotta say, Terry, a lot of great racing here tonight as we see the field getting ready to talk about Pocono. Of course, the 2-mile tricky triangle going to provide a lot of great racing and a little bit of chaos as well.
Yeah, I mean, turn one's always a big key is when you go down that the long pond straightaway and get down to the corner, you have to back it up a ton. You're hard on the brakes, you're shifting down into third, maybe fourth, maybe third in these next-gen cars. You're going to have a hard time getting off the exit of the corner and fighting your way to the tunnel turn. You'll race it like a road course. If it stays green to the end, you have to come down and take fuel as early as possible. I'm excited to see what's going to go on there in PRL. As I've got my first Pocono race ticket to call Wednesday night Truck Series, so I can't wait for that.
It's going to be exciting. We're going to be excited to have you guys with us here for great racing action, as we're going to see as we see here some of our drivers making their way through. Nope, no one is joining us here tonight. So with that, I think it's safe to say, they're still going to be coming here, as our producer is letting us know. As we'll give them a few more minutes here. But Terry, who were some of the drivers you were surprised about racing here tonight?
Aaron Papineau got an early incident and comes out here, and he still finds his way to the 8th place position. Brian McDonald did a great job coming up to 11th. Got some free spots there towards the end when you saw that wreck happen. Kind of worked their way up through the field and did a fantastic job. Just all around. I mean, there was a couple drivers that was able to make their way through an incident that was pure chaos on the back straightaway and got to the front. So not too bad, as it looks like we got our first driver, and that's Tyler Justice.
It is Tyler Justice. We'll go ahead and let you talk to the man himself who came home in second place, as he is with Terry Radford.
Heck yeah, Chase Elliott fan. That Lick Q Molly machine comes home P2, and Tyler, you had some speed, and you sure did hang that sucker right there on the outside. Do you hope that sucker stayed green?
Yeah, I mean, I wish we could have had a few more laps. I mean, he did clear me, so he probably would have drove away a little bit there, just with being in clean air and whatnot. I got the best restart I could have, and I felt like that's where I was going to have to do it at. I knew the caution was coming, especially the way the race was going, but I couldn't have asked for a better restart, and kind of kicking myself because I got a little excited and picked the throttle up a little too soon on the exit of 2, and it pushed tight and then snapped loose. But I gave it our best effort. That was a pretty eventful race. About 30 minutes left, I sped on pit road, had to go all the way back to like 27th, and was able to get back up through there pretty clean without any incidents. So we had a shot at it. That's about all you can ask for, and we haven't had the results put together yet, so pretty glad to put a decent result in the bank. Still pretty far behind on points, but at least we got a good finish there. Congrats to Trent. That was fun. I was just hoping I could get a little bit more.
Well, you go to Pocono next week, and that tricky triangle has bitten a lot of drivers in the past, and you going into there in the next gen car with the great unknown. You don't necessarily know what you're going to be able to do when you go, what shifting marks you have to run, what the fuel mileage is going to be. Do you find that as an opportunity, or is it going to be something where you're just like, well, I guess I'll wait and see?
Yeah, we ran a few laps there this week, just trying to get a feel for it, and it's going to be tricky for sure. That's why the name's Tricky Triangle, I guess. But the shifting is going to be interesting to see what's best and what's not, because you could be downshifting twice in a corner or once, depending on what you like, and fuel mileage will be an issue if you want to shift twice. So it's going to be interesting for sure. There's going to be a lot of unknowns, like you said, going into that race. So we'll definitely figure out what's best and get the practice in and be ready for it for sure.
All right, since you're on camera and we have you and everybody can see you, I hope you're a wrestling fan, because I'm a big one. Give me your best wrestling promo thanking your sponsors here tonight.
I do not watch wrestling at all, but I don't know what that would consist of, but I just want to give a shout out to all my partners at Phase 2 Chassis Works. They do a great job, and I got to thank Liquid Molly and Gearhead Coffee as always. They definitely support us there. So I'm not much of a showman, so I don't know what I could do for you there, but that's about it. That's all I got.
I like it, ladies and gentlemen. That's Tyler Justice, P2 here tonight. We'll see you at Pocono.
All right, appreciate it.
Thanks, brother. Taylor Burris is with race winner Trent Dinkle.
Trent Dinkle, the man of the hour, who has spun out got almost completely destroyed in the nose and takes a cold drink as well. I have to say, you deserve that one, Trent.
Oh,
Talk to us about your race win.
That was the craziest race I've ever done. I had that, which I'm a little iffy about it, but it is what it is. I didn't feel like I was ahead of Josh on the race start, but I was, and I went to the back, and then I knew it was going to be hell getting back through the field, but I mean, I was in a wreck and a couple wrecks. I mean, I T-boned Bill Petroff so hard, I was amazed that my car was still cruising after that, and then, I had a somewhat decent play with when I pitted, and it forced some other people to have to pit later than they wanted to, and I just got up front, and with the amount of cautions we had, I could build up enough of a lead where I wasn't under too much pressure from the back those last couple restarts. Until the final restart that Tyler Justice had one of the best launches I've ever seen, and he stuck right there with me, and I mean, it was a close drive off at 2 for what ended up being the race win.
Well, we head to Pocono next week, the Tricky Triangle. Your thoughts on that race before we let you go and enjoy this victory?
I mean, I think it'll be interesting. I really, honestly, haven't raced Pocono in anything, let alone this car. And this car is seeming to be quite the challenge for a lot of people, including myself. So we'll do a lot of work this week, and hopefully we'll come out swinging again next week.
Well, we'll let you go and thank your sponsors right quick there, Trent, and let you go celebrate this victory.
Yeah, huge thanks to Private Label, Ethica, iLiveries. They do so much for us. And then Ty was in there helping us out tonight. And I know I'm 100% sure this week my mom probably had a heart attack at some point during that race. So I hope she's doing okay.
Well, make sure you call your mom. Make sure she's doing okay after you celebrate this victory. That's Trent Dinkel, your race winner here tonight for Private Label, as we are joined by Abner Acosta. He is with Terry Radford.
Abner Acosta, what are you doing, man? I get to talk to you on the track side. Well, I get to talk to you on the next gen side too. What's up, brother?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm not doing as good as you. You finished in P3 here tonight. You started 5th, got up to 3rd. Did you think if we stayed green, you had an opportunity to potentially go up there and win this thing?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just because I also had I think it was 15 laps fresher tires. But it's just so hard with all the yellows tonight. It was just so many restarts, and it's just so hard to make positions up. But yeah, if we would have had at least 3 more green flags racing, I definitely could have done something, but fortunately that didn't happen.
Well, you come home 3rd. You go. Obviously, you're going to race the trucks on Wednesday night in Pocono. Are you going to take what you learned Wednesday night and apply it to what you're going to do here next Sunday at Pocono?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I don't think it transfers that much, the stuff that you do in the trucks here. But I definitely do like the next gen a lot more. I think it's a lot more fun to race. I'm not sure when was the last time I raced Pocono, so I definitely gonna have to put in some practice. But yeah, I'm gonna try as much as I can to get some experience in the trucks. Maybe it will help me, but I honestly don't think it does transfer that much, at least for me.
Well, that seat time's always got to be good for you, right? Racing at a track that you necessarily haven't been racing on for a while. It might not translate over speed-wise, but you're obviously going to be shifting in the trucks. You're going to be shifting in the next-gen cars. So just a little bit of tidbits that you could take over from one to the other. But this Private Label machine, man, you got to thank your sponsors out here, because you drove through this field a couple times and made a lot of clean passes to work yourself back up to 3rd.
Oh yeah, always I want to thank our guys at Private Label Team Hype, Trent, Josh, Brandon, Ty. They're always helping throughout the race and all that. And yeah, going from the back, I think Trent did that as well too. I think he had an incident and everything. So really happy that he won. He was really fast. But yeah, all of our guys, we put in a lot of work throughout the week. We bounce ideas off each other. Shifting and tire wear and all that, and it seems like it's paying off this year. So, yeah, happy for us.
Well, Abner, I'll be talking to you hopefully on Wednesday night for the PRL Truck Series. It's been a great time calling this race here, and I'll see you Wednesday, and we'll see you at Pocono next week too.
All right, I'll see you there. Hopefully, in the victory lane this time.
Well, hopefully so. You'll be talking to Joey on that one. We'll see you later. Congratulations on P3.
All right, have a good night.
And with that, a lot of great racing action to go. Of course, the next time you'll see the PRL Cup Series will be on Sunday, July 24th at the Tricky Triangle, Pocono Raceway, 8:30 Eastern. You'll join the cast and crew of RaceSpotTV as we'll bring you all the action from the Tricky Triangle. With that, it is time that we come to a close here for tonight. For my co-host Terry Radford and for our producer Hugo Luis, I'm Taylor Burris. Thank you for watching RaceSpotTV coverage of the PRL NASCAR Cup Series live on RaceSpotTV. We'll see you in the Pocono Mountains next Sunday night.